two of India's biggest prodigies, Nihal Sareen versus Pragnananda. This is going to be an epic encounter. Nihal opens the game with knight f3 and Prag takes his time for the first move. Nihal representing the Chingari Gulf Titans while Pragnananda playing for the SG Alpine Warriors. Prag also gets his knight out to f6, a very flexible move. Both of them are good friends of each other but also want to beat each other on the board. b3 played by Nihal, a little move to develop your bishop on b2. Prag goes d5, bishop b2, and a very solid system chosen by Pragnananda. Nihal brings his pawn up to e3 to develop the other bishop. And what is Prag going to do? He plays b6. He wants to put his bishop on b7. And there you have it. Now the game is transposing into the English system with c4 on the board. The English opening is here. And Prag simply develops his bishop. Knight comes out to c3. And now Prag continues his development. Knight bd7. In terms of style, Nihal is a very positional player. You can see calm positional chess, while Pragnananda likes to play it more tactically, and that is what he would like to do in this game. But Nihal's opening has been very solid. How does Pragnananda continue? He can develop his bishop to e7 and then castle, but he first goes a6, a very little move. The idea is that after takes, now the knight can't jump to b5. So he takes, and now knight comes back to e2. So Nihal's plan is maybe to put his knight on f4. Prag goes g6, the double fianchetto, and Nihal also fianchettos his bishop with g3. Bishop comes to g7 while the other bishop goes to g2. This is going to be a long positional battle here. Prag now castles and so does Nihal. This is actually in Nihal's territory. He likes to be patient. He likes to play positional chess. Look at that move, rook c2. The point is you can go queen a1 and then double on the c file. Prag goes a5 and a little move d3. Nihal playing the waiting game, just being very calm there and waiting for Prag to take some action. And there you have it. Prag cannot sit still. He needs to do something. He pushes his pawn. Nihal gains more space with the move b4 and Prag moves his pawn further, a3. Where does the bishop go now? He puts his bishop on d4 and maybe c5 is possible, a pawn sacrifice here. But Prag goes bishop a6. And now queen comes up to d2. Connecting the rooks here with rook c1 might be an idea. Bishop comes to f8 in order to bring more power on the c5 square. And in the background we see Magnus Carlsen, who has just drawn his game and he leaves the playing hall. Now the rook comes to b1. So Nihal puts his rook there and Prag breaks in the center with c5, takes, and now the bishop comes back. So although white's pieces are kind of clamped down in the first three ranks and black has a lot of space, Nihal's pieces are nicely positioned. Rook b8 played. Good move by Prag, trying to exchange off the rook, but Nihal says, not really, I don't want to exchange. I'm going to keep an eye on the c5 pawn. And Prag loses his patience here and pushes his pawn. Not a good idea. Nihal takes it and now he must take back with the pawn or the bishop. If he takes back with the bishop, the d5 pawn is weak, but if you take with the pawn, this pawn is now weak. White has a clear advantage and Nihal's strategy in this game has worked out brilliantly. The waiting strategy, he brings his knight now. Now this knight can jump to d5. The bishop is on a powerful diagonal. This bishop is also doing well. Prag goes back to g7. How does Nihal continue now? He plays his queen up to d6 and he's just softened up black's position. He's looking at the a6 bishop and Prag, already low on time, plays his queen to a5. He defends his bishop and improves his position of his queen. How should Nihal continue? He needs to keep the pressure going. He goes bishop c3 and attacks the queen. The queen must defend the bishop on a6, and so Pragg plays his queen to a4, and now the knight jumps to g5. Wow, what a move that is. And rook b1 played. If you take the rook, then queen takes c2, hits the rook and the bishop. But it's not a great move. Nihal must find queen d2 to defend everything, because right now the threat also is to pick up the rook on c2. He brings his queen back. Fantastic chess by Nihal Sarin. He's now defended both his rooks, and Praggnanandhaa in big trouble now. What does he play? He brings his other rook to b8, and now knight d5 is a good move. Also possible is bishop d5, hitting the pawn on f7. And Nihal finds it. Bishop d5. If you take here, he'll take with the knight, and the knight is very powerfully positioned. Pragg is trying to figure out what to do. He takes on c1, but after rook takes c1, this is a winning advantage. Now you can't even take on d5 because queen d5 would hit here, and so he brings his rook back to f8. This is losing in many different ways. How does Nihal play? He can actually take on f7 with any of the pieces, but no, he goes back. That's not a good move, and with this, Pragg has a chance to fight back. He wants to bring his knight in the center, but now h6. Whoa, what a piece sacked by Nihal Sarin. Pragg is confused. Why did Nihal give a piece? Knight takes, the rook is attacked, and so is the bishop on g7. Pragg plays his rook up, and it's actually a positional sacrifice for just one pawn. Nihal Sarin showing some class here, takes on g7, and with whichever piece you recapture, he's going to start rolling his central pawns down the board. Brilliant understanding from the youngster. e4 pawn push, and Praggnanandhaa under big pressure here. Will he be able to hold this position with so little time on the clock? Both players down to last few seconds. Queen comes back to b5, and now Nihal with few seconds, 40 seconds on his clock, can actually push. No, he finds the best move once again. He plays his queen to d6. Now e5, e6 is a massive threat. Pragg plays queen b6, but that is actually giving back material, because now bishop takes f6 means that if you take with the knight, the queen is hanging, and if you take with the rook, the knight is hanging. Well, Nihal must make his move. Yes, he plays it. Bishop takes f6 with just 2 seconds left, and now Praggnanandhaa must take back with the rook, giving up his knight. Yes, he takes. Queen takes d7. Nihal Sarin is totally winning now. There's no chance for Pragg. He's completely pawned down, and it's amazing position here. Queen comes back, and Pragg now goes in with his queen, or what? Yes, he plays his queen here. You don't want to take this queen because then pawn takes, and then you have 2 passers. But you can simply bring your rook up. Nihal plays his rook up. Fine move. Praggnanandhaa must now give a check, and he does so. Queen a1 check. Can you play your bishop back? No, he brings his rook back. Is Nihal going to agree to a draw? I think Pragg would be very happy with a draw here. He goes back, rook up, check. He must bring his bishop back, but then you have to calculate. Queen takes bishop, king takes bishop, pawn push, check, attacking the queen. But no, you can bring your queen in between, and that rook endgame is winning, and so Nihal plays it. Fantastic chess. Nihal finds the most tricky move here, and he is in the driver's seat. Praggnanandhaa in trouble. King h7. Now just queen c1. You trade the queens, or you win the pawn. This is just game over. This is just game over for Nihal. Can he find that move, queen c1? Or he can even bring his queen to c3. He can do it. Nihal has 30 seconds left. He plays his queen to c3. Good move there. Pragg, of course, doesn't exchange the queens. He keeps the queens on the board for any final chances in the position. And Nihal brings his king up. Such solid play by this youngster. He's playing brilliant chess. Now he wants to win another pawn. Bishop takes c4. What does Praggnanandhaa do? He is going to lose another pawn. So he goes and defends it. And now maybe slowly you go bishop e2, h4, h5. And I think Nihal is winning in many different ways now. But he goes f3. Maybe not the best move now, because it opens up the second rank. This is not what the doctor had ordered. Now Praggnanandhaa can shift his rook and enter the position, but can Pragg actually find that move with just 5 seconds left. He needs to make, he finds it. Rook b7, brilliant chess, because if you now take bishop c4, which might be not a great idea, there is queen takes c2, queen takes c2, rook b2, bishop b3, bishop c4. Wow, what a beautiful move there. So, oh, but Nihal takes it, and now Pragg needs to find queen takes c2. Can he play it? Can he play it? No, he's thinking queen takes c2 is actually better for him. But maybe he gets tempted by rook b2, pinning here. Rook e2 is the only defense, or there is also bishop d3, so that there is a perpetual behind there. Nihal now in trouble. The position is equal. No, he blunders big time. Rook f2 is a huge blunder. Pragg takes it. And now if you take back with the king, there's queen b2 check, takes, and the pawn is queening. Nihal resigns after dominating the game for almost 95% of the moves. He blunders and loses. You can see that Pragg was also unhappy winning this because Nihal is his good friend and he knew that he didn't play so well. Nihal is also upset. But what a fight between these two youngsters. In the end, it was Pragg who held on to his nerve and gave the crucial 4 points for his team, SG Alpine Warriors, to beat the Chingari Gulf Titans. Amazing battle between Nihal Sarin and Praggnanandhaa there.